Thank you so much. First, before I get started, just a few things. This conference has been amazing. Thank you for allowing me to join this conference. I've heard some compelling stories, testimonies, as I would say, and just some brilliant people in this room. I mean, I want to get all your QR codes or text messages, and numbers. Just a phenomenal stories, phenomenal people, and phenomenal perspectives. So that's number one. Number two, tomorrow is Mother's Day. And I just wanted to extend a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the room. Give yourself a hand clap. You deserve it. You have been resilient and just been, the backbone of a lot of processes. Okay. This is better? Okay. Yes. Have been the backbone of the families in our communities, and I cannot thank you for your contributions. And just happy Mother's Day to everyone. If I get connections, I'm going to send you some digital bouquets. That'll be the best I can do. I'll talk to the florist maybe later on, sitting in your part of your country. But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about AI. So I am a chief information officer. I've been in IT for 25 years. Doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it's been a minute. I'm currently in higher education, but throughout my 25 years, I've been in a lot of different industries. I've been in banking, nonprofit, K-12, healthcare, state government. So I've been in a few different industries. My most recent is higher ed. So let's talk AI a little bit. It is here, it's not coming, it is right here. Show of hands, how many people is using AI almost daily? Almost everyone in this room. That is good. What is on a scale of 1 to 10, just throw a number out, your satisfaction of AI?
8.
6, 7, 8? Okay. 8 if you know how to use it.
It's still wonky.
So there's room to grow. Let me tell you, someone who's been in technology for 25 years, I agree 100%. And let me share with you, AI is a phenomenal tool. It's kind of one of those moments in technology where it kind of just resets everything and upends everything. And this is the first technology. I've been doing this for 25 years, so I remember when the dot-com bust came out in early 2000. That was like a major shift, right? And it impacted us in the corporate ladder, indirectly. And obviously Amazon and some of the other entities, Apple, started growing and became these conglomerates that they are today. But AI just kind of went past all the technology people, went out to market. So we had to rush and figure out, well, how do we manage it? How do we deal with it? How do we create the structure and foundation and the architecture to be able to support AI, because AI is here. And let me tell you, in education, the students will press how much you have to speed up getting new technology introduced, because they're already using it. Your children, if your children are in college or high school, whatever, they're already using it. So we, as other who are kind of the gatekeepers or the ones who are providing the service to those students, have to realize this is here. We need to be able to provide the resources and tools to optimize what they're already using. But AI, for all of its luxury and glamour, and I will tell you, so my AI experience kind of rests on 3 platforms right now. I go to Copilot as my Copilot. Most of what they call my generative AI, you ask a question, you get a response back. And ladies and gentlemen, have you used the microphone feature? Oh man, oh my gosh, it's wonderful. So I'm having conversations with AI as if it's a real person. And some of the responses are so good, I say, oh, I love you. And it says, I don't have human emotion. It has to keep reminding me, and I'm like, oh, you're fantastic. So it's just phenomenal. So I use Copilot for most of my Q&A. ChatGPT still has a good platform for image creation, because it has a lot of what we call pre-prompt scripts. So you can throw a lot in there, and it does motion images really well. But then I go to Claude for like my business content and my presentations, which this presentation was done in Claude. Yeah, so Claude, so those are my 3, but there's a lot. There's OpenClaw, and there's just all this other AI just come into your faces in bounds. But in business, whether you're in the corporate ladder, which I still am, and gradually transition into the entrepreneurship lane, or you're a founder, wherever you are, AI will not save you if you haven't fixed your infrastructure, culture, and leadership first. Most organizations don't have an AI problem. They have a discipline problem. And you can apply this anywhere, not just with AI, but with any technology. I've been, of the recent last year, I've been getting more into the consultant and advisory world. Institutions that come to me and ask for me to advise for them, things of that nature. And as I ask questions about how they're using AI and things of that nature. And what I find is where's the leakage or the slippage is they don't have good foundational processes, such as we don't have institutional processes how we do most of our day-to-day activities. We don't have a foundational organization chart. Who reports to who? When a decision comes in on how to get a project approved, from the beginning to the end, where does that go through? Where does that channel go through to actually get to a decision, to get it funded, to get someone to executive sponsor it, and to get the project rolling? So there's a whole bunch of slippage in those areas. So most organizations don't have necessarily a technology problem, but they do have a discipline problem. 3 truths that will change how you lead AI. First is AI exposes what you've been avoiding all these years. So when the HR team is not working collectively with the IT team, when we're doing with a new employee onboarding, AI is going to expose that. When you've spent years not really getting that good purchase order process going, and some of it's automated, some of it's manual, AI will expose that too. So AI looks at some of the foundational elements, because what is it trying to solve? It's trying to solve automating some of those foundational elements, streamlining, making your job easier to free you up to think about the bigger things. Some of those more routine things, let AI be a tool that can help you decrease the time in which it takes to get your daily work done. Number 2, your data is the real CEO of AI. No data discipline equals no AI results. Data, 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 data. Now, we can say, well, a lot of it is qualitative, and it is. There's a lot of feelings involved in institutions, which we'll speak to when we get to the 3rd subject as it relates to culture. But we live in a world where a lot of decisions have to be based by evidence. And what defines evidence? Evidence is defined by the data that you put in to your work. What you put in is what you're going to pull out. And as a technologist, what we find is a number of entities don't have good data structure, good data standards. And let me debunk a myth. The technology department does not own your data. You own your data. We are just stewards to your data. We just help the data along. We make sure the protections of the data is there. We make sure if you need to send it to this third party or this third party, that we are the channels to help you steward your data. But we do not own your data. That HR information system, the human resource department owns that. The financial information system, your accounting department owns that. The student information system, whoever encompasses your student, or for many of you who are in sales, your customer information system, people who own the customer or sales process, that is your data. We do not own that data. So I just want to say that a lot of people say, well, let's go to the technology team. And we certainly can help, validate some things and pull some stuff from the back end. But in the end, that data is yours. It is not ours. And then number 3, culture eats AI strategy for breakfast. And you guys will probably know, I see some heads nodding in affirmation. Culture is usually the hardest thing to tackle, and it usually is the longest thing to change. But AI is forcing us to kind of take a look within the mirror and have a real, as I say, come to Jesus conversation about changing our culture. The way that we used to do things cannot be the way we continue to do things. And I remember when Mr. Bruce was just saying, just the decline in some of the elements of how we treat each other. Just really, we fundamentally have to change. And just kind of complete sidebar, I think a lot of that was recognized probably around 2020 when COVID hit, and people started having, you started hanging around with your family more than you probably did in 20 years. So that's one. But we started realizing as we started hearing, illnesses and stuff, all of this stuff didn't matter. Me putting in 20-hour days didn't matter. What mattered was my son. What mattered was my daughter. What mattered was my wife. What mattered was the people around me. And we're now seeing the dynamic begin to shift that started really around COVID, to where we're starting to make more emphasis on relationships. And culture is driven by relationships. Dollars and cents will always be there, but a lot of what we do in business and enterprise and in your founders and your startups or whatever is defined on the relationships that you have with others. That builds trust, that builds credibility, and ultimately that's going to build the success that you're looking to have long term. AI is a mirror, not a miracle. So it does feel like a miracle sometimes. When I put that little prompt in and I say it to just produce a nice image of somewhere I've never been, Rio de Janeiro, and it does it, and it looks just like me, and it puts me right there, and I'm like, okay, I love it. That's a miracle, right? But it's a mirror. When you bring AI on the inverse of that, when you bring AI into a broken environment, it doesn't heal anything. It just makes the cracks that you already had just go faster and more exposed. As I share, AI exposes what you've already been avoiding, broken processes, as we discussed a little bit earlier. Now they're just automated broken processes. These is why the foundational elements, we have to take time to look at the foundational elements and focus and prioritize and go through it with your teams. Start committees, start council, start task force, start having the conversation about your processes. Meet with your people. There's like 90% of people in here are leaders in their room. You have teams, you have other people who you're responsible for, and they're looking for you to guide them. Have conversation with them. They will tell you what's wrong. And for me personally, I use that to feed into, I've developed so many strategic technology plans and work with leaderships and everything, but I get the input from the actual users, from the actual people and stakeholders and people that I engage with every day. They will help form a narrative. You'll start to hear themes come out from each group that you work with to help frame, okay, this is the things we need to strategically place into our emphasis to have the long-term success that we're looking for. Wi-Fi is a big conversation right now that we're having in our entity, where we got certain parts of the building where Wi-Fi just really sucks. And the students will tell you that. So we put in as a strategic plan to put more funds to that area to upgrade it and create that user satisfaction and resiliency that we need from an enterprise. Silo teams. If teams aren't talking to each other, how are you going to know what one hand and the other hand is doing? We're a network. We are a community. In the end, if you work in an enterprise, you are part of a community. That means that you are pulling for each other and you're looking for each other to help you be able to be successful. But when you sit there in a siloed environment, you know, as sometimes even technology, right? They're the ones who are antisocial. So you need to get out and be service oriented. Technology can no longer be in a closet or in a dark room space. We have to be engaged with the people we serve. So be more service oriented, use your soft skills. If we got to send you to training, we're going to do that. But the idea of being siloed no longer exists in today's method of being successful. And leadership gaps. Are you aligned, and is the rest of your leadership team aligned with you? Or does if my cabinet, or if your leadership team consists of 6 individuals, they're coming up with 6 different perspectives, then you're going to have a siloed leadership team. It's important that someone at least takes the initiative to begin to build those bridges. So, for example, I meet with the cabinet. We meet once a week, but then I go in and make sure I meet with them individually bi-weekly. So I'm getting that collective energy from them, but I'm also meeting with them individually, and I'm ensuring that rapport, that team building, that teamwork is always consistent and top of mind. So we have that congruence between each other. We talked about data. Data is the real CEO of your enterprise. So you got some of you with that Fortune 500 entity that you're leading right now. Data is actually the real CEO, not the CEO who ever is your CEO. That's just a joke. So the data equation, chaotic data equals a chaotic AI. Optional governance equals optional outcomes, and low data maturity equals 0 AI maturity. So let's just break each one of those down real quick. Chaotic data. What do you mean by chaotic data? One example could be if you're doing data entry. How does the data capture that? Does it capture it by last name? If there's multiple John Smiths in your institution, is there a unique identifier, which we would say an employee record should be, everything should be tied to employee ID. Wouldn't say social security number because we're trying to get away from that, but if you don't have that unique identifier, you're gonna have chaotic data at the end. And if you have anyone with the same name or similar name, it's gonna create a mess, especially when you're trying to pull that data out. Optional governance, have a governance. Data governance is key. How the data is used, what the policies and procedures are behind that is gonna help you when you bring in that AI. And low data maturity, same thing. Being able to have the processes in place to help make your data be a methodical place, a well thought out process that's standardized across the board. Culture eats AI strategy for breakfast. It's about people. I just said that. It's 80-20 truth, that it's 80% people, 20% technology. Technology is gonna do what it's designed to do. AI will do what it is designed to do. But if the people aren't on board, the people aren't engaged, then you're gonna have issues with trust, you're gonna have issues with collaboration, you're gonna have issues with lack of curiosity and inability to adapt. What kills AI faster than bad code? Fear. A lot of people are scared, am I going to lose my job? I used to say, no, it's gonna make your job better, but we see they're having 20% reductions. It's changing, right? There's a real, real consideration is what is the worth of my job long term? And what I would say was this, what the words you're hearing a lot is upskilling. That is people learning the skills that maturizes their capabilities to match what some of today's interest is looking for. So upskilling. Ego. Leaders need to get out of the way. Talk to the people. And territorialism, silo teams can make those problems more paramount. So four areas to have an AI readiness assessment. 4 questions to answer before you invest another dollar in AI. Here's the 4. In the infrastructure, is your data clean, governed, and accessible? Do your systems integrate or do they remain disparate? Do they remain siloed? Culture, does your team trust leadership? Or is there psychological safety to experiment and fail? If they don't trust you, they're not going to tell you anything. If they don't tell you anything, you're not going to know how to grow, how to expand, and how to become more successful. Leadership, can your leaders articulate the AI vision? Do they model curiosity? Do they even care? It's not just the CIO problem. AI is an institutional dilemma, not a technology dilemma by itself. And are your core workflows documented and functional? Do you have a manual just on how to do business, standard operating procedures, things of that nature? So what I leave you with is this. Start here. Start Monday, day after Mother's Day. Enjoy Mother's Day, by the way. Don't think about any of this on Mother's Day. Do not think about this on Mother's Day. But when you return on Monday or Tuesday, if someone gets a long weekend, audit your data first. Identify where data lives, who owns it, and whether it's clean and governed. Schedule the data health check within the first 30 days. Number 2, assess your culture. Conduct a trust audit. Are your people afraid of AI or do they feel empowered by it? If they feel empowered by it, do they know how they actually use it to be effective for you? Number 3, align your leadership. Your C-suite must have a unified, clear AI narrative. Sometimes you have to have tough conversations with your peers. They're your peers. And make sure that you're on the same wavelength as they are. And sometimes you have to be the bigger person to make that harmony become what it needs to be. And then fix before you scale. In today's world, sometimes it takes a year to really get us where we need to go. So you're gonna kind of be building the plane while you're flying the plane, but that's okay. We can talk and chew gum at the same time, but do what you can to help prioritize what needs to be fixed, and then you can scale to Fortune 50. We said 500, let's just go with the 50. And so, yeah, AI won't save you, but if you put the right foundation and make the right efforts towards the foundation, you're gonna see many success. And hey, you know how to contact me. Hit me up with some questions. I'd be glad to help you with whatever you need to get you where you need to go.